What is the significance of the fact that the average age of the Indigenous population is 26 and that the Indigenous population has the highest birth rate in Canada? What does that mean moving forward?
It's almost a vindication that you try to get rid of us, and we're multiplying, and we're here, we're strong, our nations are strong, our land is tied to our women, and we're the title holders of this land, and we're not going anywhere.
And what does it mean when any population is young, whether it's Indigenous or not? What does it mean for the future, politically, economically? It's a big workforce potentially.
Absolutely.
Political power. Like talk about those sort of things.
Yeah,
it's a big bubble.
Yeah,
right?
our young nation is a potential of, a huge economic potential power in this nation, and I think it's an untapped resource because we haven't, as a society, geared training and opportunities for Indigenous youth in this country. And I think once we do that, we'll see a resurgence of power in this country. And I think one of the clearest example for me in seeing that we don't provide opportunities to young Indigenous people is that you walk through any mall in the city, you don't see our people working in the entry-level jobs that most Canadians come to rely on when they're young, going to university, college, or whatever, and they start their jobs, and then they start learning about, what it's like to have a job, a full-time job, and responsibilities. But we don't give the same opportunities to young Indigenous people as we do to non-Indigenous people. When I was a teenager, I was really ambitious, and I wanted to do what everyone else was doing, have a part-time job, make a little money so I can go to the movies. And, I tried to get a job at McDonald's, I tried to get a job at other fast food places, but nobody would hire me. So then I go back to the guidance counselor, and she says, start volunteering, build your resume up. So I go apply to volunteer at old folks' homes, and one nice lady, and I know she didn't mean it in a mean way, but she told me that we can't hire you as a volunteer because, the people won't relate to you. They won't know what to say, they won't know how to talk to you, and to me, I didn't know what that meant at the time. I just walked away feeling really disillusioned and thinking, well, I guess I'm not wanted here. And so I started giving up on school and, paying attention to people that were not, in the same boat as me, disillusioned. And so I grew up in my teenage years not ever having a part-time job because of the lack of opportunities, and we see that now to this day, and it's simply not right. Like we have a huge population, as you say, young, dynamic population that is untapped, and I think as soon as we turn around and provide the opportunities and create the programs, the education programs that we need, we'll see a difference. Like when you go to Thompson and go to northern Manitoba, on Sunday nights and Monday mornings, you'll see planes full of strong young people coming from the south, going to the north to work for the week. They all have work boots on and they're all ready to work, and the plane is full. But when you go to the north, we have so many unemployed Indigenous people. Why can't we turn around and train people that live there for the jobs that are there? So, it's a myth that there are no jobs in our communities because there are, but you need post-secondary education on most of these jobs. And if schools are 2 grades behind in the early years, which what mine was when I came to school in Winnipeg, I was 2 grades behind. And so we're always constantly catching up. So it's unfair for the rest of society to say, get a job, go to school, when you don't provide the proper education and you don't provide the opportunities for people to get a job.
That's the economic side. Now what about the political side? We have 11 MPs that identify Indigenous roots. But if you think even on the prairies, if the Indigenous this is just kind of imagining, right? But if an Indigenous population on the prairies was all in one spot, there'd be 14 MPs right there. They would be equivalent to the 6th largest province in the country. These are just the sheer numbers now. So how does that represent political power? What happens then?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think we'd see policies that are changing and policies that fit better to the people that are affected most by the racist policies we see now. And And I think we would see the strength of our people in a bigger way. And I think, when I used to have these conversations with non-Indigenous people about what that would look like, and
What would it look like? Tell me first.
if Indigenous people were to take over this whole government system and this whole economy and everything, and we retained and got back the power of this country, non-Indigenous people would tease me and say, "Can I still stay? Do I have to go back to where my grandparents came from?" And those kind of comments and jokes and stuff. But I think if it ever came to that point, of course people could stay. That was the whole purpose of the treaties, is we welcomed people into this community, into this country, and we welcomed the idea of sharing the resources. And in fact, our people, our ancestors, welcomed people and helped them survive in a situation that they weren't used to. So of course the willingness is there, and I think people would be surprised, I think, if we were able to get back to a place where we govern this country. People would be surprised at how much opportunity and sharing we would still provide, even though we've gone through this 100-year of everything else but sharing and everything else but caring. I think people would be surprised, because inherently we do care about other people, and inherently we do want the best for everyone around us, not just our own people.